On hole number 1, we saw Sagamore narrowly edging out Green River for the win. It was basically a 1-inch putt difference. And Sagamore goes on to the next hole. Now on this hole, this is hole number 2, and it's again with histories from Maryland, histories from local rye. So let's get to it. Welcome back to Pars and Pours, the golf-centric whiskey channel, because both whiskey and golf are very social and they both need to be shared. So today, what are we doing? And we're in the RYEDER Cup hole number 2, right? RYEDER Cup hole number 2. And in this particular instance, we have a Pikesville, and I got this one from the actual Heaven Hill Distillery in a little bitty tube that they come in. And it is a Pikesville straight rye. We'll save some of that for later, obviously. And then minor case. This is going to be a big deal here. In minor case, this is the 90 proofer. Okay, so look at that. I spilled a little bit of some. That's not very good. All right, so let's talk about this. Pikesville Rye, very much like Sagamore, Pikesville got its start in Maryland in the very early 1800s. And it wasn't up until, and it actually was a contract distiller during the Prohibition era. It ceased production in 1972, and Heaven Hill bought up the brand in 1982, and it is now producing this in the Heaven Hill Distillery lineup, being made at the Bernheim Distillery. That's where this is at. So this one is definitely a straight rye whiskey, say that one fast. A straight rye whiskey at 110 proof. Okay, and so it's distilled and bottled by Heaven Hill Distilleries in Bardstown. That's where they're at. All right, and I did pick this up at the distillery. I made a few, and if you guys wanted to watch, I'd talk about a unicorn. Maybe we'll put it up into here. Minor case, on the other hand, is a different example. Minor case is Minor Case Beam. It's the great-grandfather of the current Stephen Beam, who is running Limestone Distillery at this particular point in time. Minor Case was a big rye whiskey guy because of pre-Prohibition era type stuff. So, now the difference here is this is a sourced whiskey finished in sherry barrels. Now this one is a 95 proof and it's bottled by Limestone Branch, as it says. And the idea here is it's probably the first finished whiskey in the group, and it very well may be the only one, as that case may be. Now, I recently visited down there in Limestone Branch, and they have a single barrel of this. Now, if I had the single barrel of this, I can tell you it would win right now. All right, that single barrel version of what's going on in this thing is outstanding. But we don't have that. We don't have that because, well, this is what I can find at the local store. It's very popular. Now, why is it very popular? Because of its price. It's a very low end. It's a very low priced bourbon in the $30 range, or the very low whiskey in the $30 range. Where I have no idea what this costs, but I know this little tube cost me about $10. So it is. So you can go figure it out. I've seen a lot of people. I did some research on YouTube. A lot of people like the Pikesville. We're going to see it. So again, RYEDER Cup. This is hole number 2. The RYEDER Cup is from Samuel RYEDER from 1927, who happened to be a merchant from Massachusetts, which I think is funny because he was a seed merchant in the Northeast, where rye is the prevalent grain that they were using. So I imagine that through all this, they probably intermingled. So we're just bringing him back around. Okay, and the RYEDER Cup is going to be, it's a taste of nose, palate, and then uniqueness. And what I mean by uniqueness, does it follow through on what it says it's going to deliver? Much like the Sagamore was very much different than the Green River, I just gave the 1-inch nod to that particular one. And we're going to get down and we're going to get to the 19th hole to see who is the winner. Alrighty. From the first one, I already have this, the water to kind of make them separate, so let's go for it. Last time I did from the right hand, this time we're going to go from the left hand. This time we're going to give the Pikesville a nose first. Now this is a fresh crack too, so this could be something different. We don't know what a tube does to it. Honestly, I don't get a lot. There's a bit of a sweetness to it, maybe caramel, that kind of stuff. And again, the idea here is everybody talks about the idea of this rye spice that comes through and it gets on your nose. And I've not seen it yet. There's a bit of a grain. One more time. Yep, I get a bit of a grain. The sweetness, the more I give it more air, the sweetness tends to falter and the grain comes up forward. Yep, the typical the vanilla caramel and grain is what I get with that one. Minor case. Oh, what was that? Like a giant banana. That's first one. I never ever thought I would say something like that on here, but that is a giant banana. Extraordinarily sweet. You pick up the sherry flavoring afterwards, but holy cow. Definitely something different. The finishing in the sherry casks is just a totally different vibe coming off of this thing. Wow, that is amazing. There's the sherry. Okay, after we give it a little bit more, you get the sweetness, the little bit of the fruit. It's kind of funny that neither one of these are heavy in the grain. We're so far, for 4 different bottles that we've gone through, you would think that this rye spice would just come up and bite you in the butt, but it doesn't. For sure, in this particular one, the nose hands down is going to go to the minor case, just based on the shock that I got from the banana. And the fact that it keeps evolving. It keeps evolving into something a little bit more complex. It's got a little bit fewer layers in it now. Where this one holds its own, right? This one holds its own. It's very much a very sturdy nose, meaning that no matter what I've given it, hasn't changed quite a bit. Again, in the sweetness, maybe the caramel, and just a hint of the grain. So just for the fact that it's just completely different, we're going to give the nod to the minor case, in that this is going to be a bit of a change. Now, out of a 10 score, I'm going to give this one about an 8, a 7. Let's give it a 7. Let's give this one a 7, and we're going to give this one a 5. I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong. I haven't run up against a bad one just yet. It's just the way that the contest is going, that this is totally different. Now, in the Pikesville, you get the rye spice right on the front of the palate. Again, we're starting to see the oiliness of it, which I think is a positive thing for whiskeys to do in order to be able to coat your mouth. And I'm getting almost no finish, which is kind of odd. I'm going to give it one more. Yeah, a caramel rye spice right on the very front, and it continues to the middle, and then you get down to the end. Now on the second sip, that we're starting to get that finish, and the finish is a little deeper. It's got a little bit. There's the rye spice that comes through, exactly what you would expect. So far as what we would call a traditional rye, this is the one that comes closest so far. All right. Just amazing. The difference in this is just silly. And again, like the lower proof, the 90 to 95, you don't have those different stair steps of flavor it just comes across as something that is very mellow. And the sherry, you can get the sherry flavoring in that, and meaning that it has that almost red fruit kind of flavor that's going on in it. And you get the feeling tackles. Yeah, let's go with that. It tackles the front of the taste buds. It doesn't have that oily type finish that one would expect, almost to a drying aspect. And then it gets it to the end, and then that's where you pick up all the finishing that was in the barrel. And there it is. And so all these have come, both of these whiskeys have come to life on the second sip. Maybe palate acclimatization. We're acclimating the palate. There you go. Anyway, you get that, and now we're starting to feel the oily has showed back up. The front wasn't very very bold as it was before, but the finish is starting to show up on this one. Okay, so what we're going to go with, and as far as uniqueness goes, I'm going to have to give the nod again to Minor Case because it is a finished rye. Although, albeit they didn't finish it, it is a sourced whiskey versus this is made in-house. Again, if I was looking to make a drink from something that was a rye, this would be the thing I would pull up all day long. This one has the ability to stand up to all the different things that you would pour into it in order for it to do what you need it to do. However, this one, the Minor Case, the fact that it has a bit of history, just like Pikesville does, but it has that unique nose that I never once expected that you would get from a rye whiskey, and then the palate on it just delivers in just tons, delivers in tons. It's an enjoyable. You could sit down with it just like this. You might even want to put a little bit of an ice cube in it, and it drinks for days. So the winner for hole number 2, and now this one is a chip in. This was the Minor Case. Hit it with got a little bit of spin, got himself the lucky backspin, put it in the hole, where this one he chips on and he's got about a 3-foot putt away. So again, the hole number 2 is going to go to Minor Case. Okay, hole number 2 is going to go to Minor Case, and we're going to go from there. So if you like this content, please like and subscribe. If you got any ideas of how we can make this a little bit better, let me know. And as always, we want you to save your pars, but we want you to share your pours.